Chris, thanks for your time. Who's next for special? We'll start with Pedro in the middle here. Oh, excuse me, Johnny, go first on the left. And
Chris, can you talk about your health and how much you're looking forward to starting Game 1 of the World Series?
Yeah, I mean, that's, like I've said many times before, that's what we signed up for. This is what we prepared for all year. Chance to win a championship, and that's where we're at right now. So we're all excited, ready to go.
Pedro on the right side.
Chris, if you can remember back to the very first time you ever pitched at Fenway Park when you were with the White Sox, what is so different about this park when you're pitching? Clayton Kershaw's never pitched here before.
It's a lot better wearing the white uniforms. This isn't an easy place to play on as a visitor. I've always enjoyed playing here because of the atmosphere, and obviously it's an iconic park. But it's a lot more fun pitching as a home pitcher.
I meant more the nooks and crannies, the angles, all of that stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, this ballpark definitely brings its challenges in terms of it's different. It's not your standard just wall out in center field, just kind of a half oval. We have, like you said, nooks and crannies, some sharp edges, and some different things going on out there. So I could definitely see how this could raise some challenges for a team that doesn't play here a lot.
And on your right, Allison.
Chris, we've seen a lot of teams this postseason that have had to kind of piece things together and use the bullpens a lot, but really when it comes down to this World Series, it still looks like more like a traditional with pitchers going deep into games. Just the fact that the starting pitchers, including yourself, can really impact the outcome of games and see some length. What does that mean to you this deep into October to bring that to the team?
Well, that's our plan from the start. As a starting pitcher, your job is to answer the phone when it calls and go out there as long as you can. I think that's been our mindset since day one, and it doesn't change when we get to the postseason. I think the longer you can keep a starter in the game, the more fresh your bullpen's going to be down the stretch. And we like many other teams have used our bullpen and utilized them a lot, and they've done very well this postseason for us in pressure situations, pitching 2-3 days in a row, day off pitch, that kind of thing. So if we can get them as much rest as possible, it's going to benefit the team as a whole.
Right corner, Mark.
Chris, your manager used the words likable and humble talking about this team. There's a lot of big name, big money, big resume guys on this team. How is that, or why is that the case?
I think it's just the guys that we have. I think it's kind of the culture, the tone that AC said as well. We like to have fun, and we have our moments where we show excitement and attitude. But as a whole, we have a lot of guys that just play the game the right way. Guys that show up, work hard, play hard, and we go home. That's there's not a whole lot of other things that we're looking to get out of this other than winning. I think when you have an entire group of players, a coaching staff that's just committed and dedicated to winning, and that's number 1, 2, and 3 on the depth chart. I think that's a result of that.
To your left, Chris, second row, Ron.
The anger between the Red Sox and Machado last year after the sliding to Pedroia, your pitch behind him calling it coward stuff, how much does that linger?
Not at all. We got bigger things to worry about now. I think on both sides, on their side and on our side, we're dedicated to winning this World Series and bringing a championship to our city. We're not really worried about any individual player. We got one thing in mind, and that's winning.
Did his actions against Milwaukee reinforce any of your views about him?
That's not my team. We're like I said, we got one thing on our mind, and that's winning a World Series.
On your right, Chris, Karen.
Chris, on the subject of pitching at Fenway Park, how much are you looking forward to the atmosphere tomorrow night?
I think it's going to be rocking. This place is going to be obviously going crazy. We have very passionate fans, and it's going to be fun. I think we've all been waiting for this, and our fans too. Our fans have been there the whole year, just like we've been grinding the whole year. They've been showing up for us, and I think they're just as excited as we are. So I don't doubt this place is not going to be getting up and going tomorrow night.
Hey Chris, if had there been a Game 6 in the ALCS, could you have pitched, and how much better do you feel now after having had some days off and a chance to recover?
Yeah, I was lined up for Game 6. Obviously, DP and Devers and everybody else had a different way of going about it. And yeah, I mean, any time that we can get some days off, like I said, our bullpen too. We've everyone. It's good to get some rest this time of year, and our position players been grinding day in and day out. Get a little bit extra rest, get our feet underneath us, and be able to kind of settle in and then hit the ground running for this series is a good thing for everybody.
Understanding you were lined up, I mean, do you think you could have pitched, given how you felt at the time?
I mean, I was going to pitch, so
Okay.
yeah, I was ready to go.
And it looks like you've been able to put some weight back on since we saw you in Houston. How much better do you feel now?
Yeah, like I said, I was ready to go then. I'm ready to go now, and looking forward to it.
On the fourth row on your left.
Chris, I realized you were a 15-year-old kid back in '04, but the manager of the Dodgers is a pretty big hero here in Boston. Stole a base that led to the first World Series championship in 86 years for the Red Sox. I'm curious if you remember anything about that play, if you were watching, and if you think he's going to get a cheer tomorrow night when he's introduced.
I obviously think he should. I've met him and talked with him a few times, and he's a great guy. He's obviously a great manager, getting to back-to-back World Series. That was a very iconic play for this team in this city, and bringing the first World Series after a long time like that is a big deal, and I think our fans will do the right thing.
Do you remember if you were watching?
I was probably out running around doing something else at the time.
David, congrats on making it to the World Series. Is there anything Alex Cora has told you about the Dodgers? Obviously, he faced them against last year. Two-part question, and what has Alex Cora meant to you this year?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously running over scouting reports with everybody, and the little ins and outs. But more than anything, he's just brought consistency. He's the same guy in the first inning as he is in the ninth inning of a 10-1 ball game or a 3-3 ball game. I think that's the overall thing as players that we take from him, or me personally. I don't want to speak for everybody else. It's just his composure. He can be in the ninth inning, bases loaded, 1 out, a 1-run ball game, and he's just sitting there eating seeds, doing the same thing he's doing in a 10-1 ball game in the fourth inning. And I think that goes very well with us as players when, if he's not panicking, why should we? And if he's calm, cool, and collected, so should we. And I think that's kind of been the overall consensus throughout the year is he's been a good leader, and we've been able to feed off of his vibes, and he's had nothing but good vibes the whole year.
And the third row on your left.
Chris, a lot of people thought you were joking when you mentioned the belly button story. Were you being serious about that?
I'll leave that for you guys to debate.
How many innings do you think you could go in Game 1?
As many as we need. There's no holding back now. I think my job's been the same since the first day I got here. You hand me the ball when you want me to throw it, and you take it out of my hand when you want me to stop. That's what I'm going with.
Over here, Tyler.
Chris, they always say that one of the big advantages you have as a pitcher is your deception on the mound. I know Clayton has some good deception from the left side. Is that something that you sort of always had in your delivery, or is that something that you have tried to accentuate?
Yeah, I mean, you obviously want to do some things to throw off the hitter. Whether you try it or not, I think it's more something that just kind of comes naturally. But we work on mechanics, try to stay. The most important thing is repeating your mechanics, and I think that's the one thing that I've focused on more than anything throughout the years is just being able to repeat it and do it consistently.
Standing in the back, Dave.
Chris, with starting pitchers reliant on their routine so much, your past 2 months have really been kind of broken up for a number of different reasons. And I know the last time out you said command was really an issue for you. So I'm curious, without that kind of routine, and how much of it has it been a scramble for you to get to where you need to be, and how confident do you think you can kind of be that guy again when you get on the mound again?
Yeah, we haven't been scrambling, I'll tell you that, but having these extra few days has been nice to be able to get back on that routine, get a little bit more normalcy back into it, get my strength back, and like you said, getting back in my routine threw a bullpen yesterday. Leaned on Dana a little bit, and got back to doing some things that made me successful in the past, and try to carry that forward into tomorrow.
I mean, in the past 2 months, Chris, have you been close to 100% or anywhere near there, or has it just been kind of lesser degrees where you're trying to pitch like that?
If I'm standing on the mound, I'm 100%.
Do 3 more for Chris, standing in the back.
Chris, back here. Brock Holt says that if you guys win 4 more games, he's going to get a nipple ring and a belly button ring. How does it feel to be a fashion trendsetter in the clubhouse?
Hey, it's just what I do. Fashionista, I guess.
Take 2 more. Marley and then
Chris, this is one of the marquee lefty against lefty matchups. What do you admire about Clayton Kershaw, and what makes him such a tough opponent?
I think if you just look at his resume and what he's done, and I know I've said a lot, but consistency. That's kind of the key to this game, and he's been as consistent as any starting pitcher in the game for the last decade. Obviously his trophy case is packed, and his resume is on a lot of sheets of paper, but he's been able to stay consistent and just stay at that dominant level for a long time. You see a lot of kind of ups and downs with people, but he's been at the top for quite some time now. It's pretty impressive.
Now we'll finish up with Ian.
Chris, obviously a lot of different people have caught you in your career. Can you just kind of talk about what kind of sets Sandy apart?
I think just throwing to him it's easy. He's very level-headed. He studies hard. He works hard. Obviously throwing out runners, he's good at that. And even just coming out for mound visits, there's never any panic. There's no sense of urgency. That it's just he's coming out there either calming me down or going over a game plan. We're lucky to have who we have back there in Vasquez and Sandy, and even Swy. They all work hard and expect to be better every time out. And for me personally, I rely on my catcher for basically everything. For scouting report, for pitch calling, and it's easier when you have guys like that back there that you can trust in and just kind of go out and follow their game plan. We'll be good to go.
All right, Chris, thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.